All right, so in this one, what we want to do is create a loader to help us when waiting for the page to load, because sometimes the internet is slow or something, so we might need to wait a little bit. Now, we don't want the loader to be on everything here because we want some of these things to still be clickable. So we just want something that's showing in this category right here. Okay, so now if you go to your folder, my chat UI icons, I have a list of these icons here. Obviously the link is in the description to these images, but this is simply a loader which you can get off of Google in case for some reason you can't get these images. You can simply Google say a loader. I think it's called a loader. So this one is an animated GIF or GIF depending on what you use. So I've simply opened it in my image editor right here, and you can see that it's loading because it's an animated GIF. Okay, so now all we need to do is display this in our app while we're waiting for things to load. So this one is called Jiffy. All right, so let me come back here, and so let me close all these files and open the right one. So the file that I need to open here is the index.php. So let's create a box here that's going to hold that loader. Okay, so to do this, I'm simply going to inspect the element, and I want to know what ID this one is. So container, that's the header. So then there's a container down here. Okay, so container is what we are looking for. So let me come back here into the index.php, and where is good old container? There we go, found it. Okay, so container display flex. This is going to be a little bit difficult because I wanted to change the... All right, no, actually it's going to work out just fine. So inside the container, because it's saying display flex, now that does make it a little bit difficult because I don't want this thing to flex so much here. Anyway, let's see what we can do. So let me put a div here like this. So let me see if that div actually disrupts anything. Let's see, contacts in settings. Nope, we are still good. Okay, great. Now what I want to do is load in that image. So I know the sources. Let me just get this, what I did here, copy that, and load the image inside there. Now instead of logout here, what I want to do is get Jiffy, as I named it, and it's probably a GIF like so. So let's see what happens there. All right, so right immediately you can see what's going on here, right? So there's this thing loading. Now let's style it a bit so that it can actually cover this whole entire area. So let's add a few styles here. So I'm simply going to add the styles. Actually, what I will do is add a class here. So let me say class is equal to loader on, something like this. So we're going to have two classes. We're going to have one that says loader on, and then we're going to have another one that's class loader off, so that we can switch it on and off as needed. So here, the loader on, let's create that class up here, right? So a class, we start with a dot and loader on like this. Great. So let's add some styles here. First of all, I want the positioning to change. So I'm going to say position is equal to absolute. Now the reason I'm adding absolute is because I don't want it to push everything aside when it's showing I simply wanted to show on top of things. So let me refresh this, and there we go. So you get the idea that this is showing up on top of everything else because the display is absolute. Very good. But then I want to reduce the image. So what I will do is actually I can simply add a style to the image directly in here, or weighing my options here. Okay, let me just do it right here. So I'm going to say style width. Let's give it a very specific width of, let's say, 150 pixels, something like this. Let me refresh the page, and there we go. I think that looks more reasonable. And so this shows that we are loading something. So we could put it here, or we could have put it there just to give us the impression. You can put it anywhere really, but if I want it to be centered to a specific what's this, a specific oh, actually this area is going to be white most of the time, so not really a very good candidate for this thing. So maybe I should rethink this whole thing and put it in the title up here, just to show that we are loading somewhere. So let me move this guy into our header. Now on this other side of the header, of course, actually maybe it doesn't matter, so let me do this. Okay, so that's inside our header. So let me move this inside there like this, and let's close this up. Let me refresh, and there we go. So we have it over there. Now we can of course reduce it further. Okay, let me refresh that. Great. Okay, you can do the positioning as needed. So here I'm going to say margin, just give it some margin of some kind, 10 pixels all round. So let's see that. Okay, so we have that loading over there. So you can put it anywhere you want, not really a problem. I could say the width of this whole thing is 100%, so that the thing is on the center. Let me try that. And then you see now it's 100% of the, see what we are doing here, we're creating a monster because it's going all the way there. Now if I, just to show you what's happening, let me add a background color here. Let me go down here, a background color of black, just to show you what's going on. There we go. So now that we've said width 100%, it's getting the width of the actual page to 100%. So that's not what we want. We just want it to get 100% of the header right there. So to fix that problem is we go to the header itself. Where is this header? Right there. Okay, I think I can find it up here. Okay, great. So what I will do is I'm going to change the positioning of the header and say relative. That is going to change how this responds from the inside. So let me refresh that, and you see now it's actually getting the actual width. Now it's moving a bit like this because of the margin, so maybe I should remove the margin. Has anything changed? Oops, wrong place. Margin over there. Okay, refresh. There we go. So it's acting on the full picture here. So if I remove the background color like this, now you get to see what's going on. So that part is showing us that we are actually loading, which is great. If I put it in here, the problem is this section is white, and so we probably wouldn't be able to see it, but you could put it in here if this is a different color. Okay, So now all I need to do is just change the width to, let's say, 50%, so that it gets only 50% of the section. And there we go. And if you want, you can reduce it further. Let me do something like okay, sorry, loader on. Where is this? The image in the loader itself, where is that? Let's save it at 70 pixels. Let's try that. Okay, there we go. So now that looks much better. Actually, I could reduce this to 30%. Okay, so that shows us that we're actually loading. Pretty good. Okay, so now let's go to loader off. Let's create another and say loader off, just like that. And we're going to say one thing here: display none. Great, that's it. So if I now go and give my this thing, I say loader off like this, you're going to notice that it will not be there anymore. And if I give it loader on, and then we are back in business. Great. So all we need to do now is to change the state of this, and we can show or close it. So let me give an ID to this thing so we can easily grab it with JavaScript. So I'll give ID and say loader, you can name it anything, loader holder, right? Let's go here, copy that, and let me go down here now where we want to switch this on every time we are getting some data. So at the very top here, when we get some data, we switch it on, and then when we receive the data, which is here when we are handling the result, we switch it off. So let's do that. Get data. So get data is right here. So what I will do is I'm going to say variable loader holder is equal to, like so, get element by ID hold loader holder, like that. Okay, so now that we have it, we're simply going to add a style to it. So I'm going to copy this again and come down here and say dot let's use class list. No, actually class name, because we're not adding multiple classes, we're just adding one. So I'm just going to say loader holder dot class name is equal to loader on. There we go. To switch it on, and then I'm going to get exactly this. I wonder if I have to put style here, but let's check if it's actually working. And then right here after, just before we handle the result, we switch it off. So like this. So let's give it a test run, refresh. It's off. Great. There we go. And we hardly saw it, but you can see it for a second there. It's showing and closing. Now, in order for us to see it properly, what I will do is delay the running of these scripts so that we can see it. Now, the first one I can delay is the contact script, and I'm simply going to tell the script to sleep, go to sleep for how many seconds? Let's say 3 seconds. And that's it. So we can get to see the loader doing its thing. So if I click on contacts, there we see it's loading until we get the data, and it's off. Great. And it's as easy as that. So I can use the same thing, sleep, go to what's this one, settings, maybe sleep for 3 seconds, refresh, settings, boom boom boom, until we're going to see some text here. There we go. All right, so it seems everything is working for the loader. Now if you want for example, buttons to not be clickable while you are loading something, you can do exactly the same thing and put a div that with a position of absolute to cover this entire area, but of course you make the div invisible, and then you put that same loader right here, whatever animation you want to put, and you can do it exactly like this. So if I got this same item, this same loader, and because the position is absolute here, so I can stretch it to any amount that I want so that it covers everything, and so nothing will be clickable under there. But that's a bit overkill for this project, so I think this is good enough. We can get to see that something is loading, and that should probably be enough.